it is one of the major things we have to get around, because every single chemical we use has got some sort of grazing withholding period, apart from a few, which I'll tease out. But it's, yeah, if we don't address it, we run that risk of market problems. So I'll go through canola first and then do the cereals second, and I'll just tease it out by sort of seed dressings and herbicides and fungicides separately. So with canola, pre-sowing, atrazine is obviously our biggest issue with TT, 15 weeks for a pre-sowing application. That's what's on the label. These are all from the APVMA website, and it's all their data. Avidex Extra, 13 weeks. Dual Gold, 10 weeks. Turbine, 6 weeks. That's getting a bit better. Triflurulin's not listed, and it's not listed for anything, whether it be the cereals or the canola either, but I suspect it probably should be something there, but it's not on a label, so we'll handle that. Post-emergent atrazine comes back to 6 to 10 weeks. It depends on which company has got the label. SIPCAM says 10 weeks. Everyone else says 6 weeks for post-sowing application of atrazine. So we can get around it if we want to with TT. Intervix for the IT system, 5 weeks, which will have an impact because if you want to go in early with weed control before grazing, you're still going to have to consider that 5-week withholding period. Lontral's okay. Turbine, yep.
Dumb question. If we put on the atrazine post-setting pre-emergent, does that mean 6 weeks?
To me it does. Yeah. So, yep, exactly. Turbine, you know, it's a newer product. It's had, I guess, more data done on it perhaps. 6 weeks pre and 6 weeks post. So, you know, that's a manageable alternative to atrazine too if we want to go with it. So.
You found a big hole in the recommendations, haven't you?
That's right. And that's why it's bolded.
It's been that long, it usually means no one's ever tested it.
But 6
you know,
weeks...
there's that length thing, but what you're saying is there's nothing for post-sowing pre-emergent.
No. So, yeah.
It's a whole other category.
6 weeks on that.
Yeah.
It's sort of pushing it out a bit, you know, because we might want to get the stock in there around 4 weeks or something, but it's, yeah, we can get around it. With seed dressings, now, jockey is a problem, 8 weeks. Impact intake in furrow 4 weeks is okay, and maximum 6 weeks. Yeah, so jockey is a problem, particularly most of our, if we buy hybrid seed now, it's all got jockey on, and even most varieties have jockey now, which, yeah, 8 weeks is going to be an issue, and like, to be honest, I had a problem with it last year with my trials. We used the hybrid and we didn't actually consider that, and we had the sheep in there on 6 weeks. So, you know, we have theoretically gone over it, but we have to consider that with our variety choice, I guess, at this stage. Foliar applied, look, Prosaro's coming out this year with the registration for foliar application for blackleg control. That's going to be sort of around the 3 to 4 leaf stage as a recommendation, but it's only got a 2-week grazing withholding period. So that'll be okay, I think, in most cases, if we want to go that way. Whether it's you do that or not, you know, you put the Prosaro on and you might get some early control, then you graze it off, and then probably that control is gone. So that's going to mean another issue as well.
We used post-grazing control last year.
Yeah.
Post-grazing.
Yeah, Prosaro post-grazing.
Pre and Prosaro post
Work well? Okay. Insecticides, we've got Cosmos 9 weeks, you know, seed dressings. That's an issue. Gaucho and things like 6 weeks, it's all right. And with anything, you know, post-emergent, we don't have any real issues with any of those that we can't get around. Is there anything, I can't see anything else there. Okay, moving on to cereals. All of our pre-sowing grass control, Avidex 11 weeks, Boxer Gold 10 weeks. Sakura's 6, that's good. We can handle that one. Trifluralin, again, not listed, so we're okay, according to the regulations. Diuron's not listed either, and Dual Gold's 8 weeks too. Anything with metallichlor is certainly showing up as an issue in the mix, so Boxer Gold and Dual Gold. With, moving on with the post-emergent products, we don't have a real issue with a lot of these that we can't get around, except for anything with bromoxynil in it. So for anyone wanting to do early, you know, if they've got the multiple resistant radish that they're trying to use, bromoxynil is one of their major tools. We're not going to have much joy there, to spray it before seeding, before grazing. So that 7 weeks with any decision or hoe grass as well, which go through there, which we don't tend to use much now anyway. But the interesting one though is Jaguar, which has got bromoxynil in it. It's only 2 weeks. Lower, loading of bromoxynil, but it's 2 weeks. Let's go a litre of Jaguar is a good start. And as like Rob was saying too, using just some straight phenoxys or MCPA LVE as a spray graze, 1 week withholding, that's a really good tool. Precept, they've gone 4 weeks with barley and 2 weeks with wheat. I'm not sure why, but that's what's on the label now. And obviously velocity with the bromoxynil in it, that's the 8 week issue there. So that's all the post-emergent products I've put up there. Seed dressings, they are an issue. Anything with gaucho or imidacloprid in it, Hombre and Zorro, 9 weeks. Your jockey is 6. I guess they're manageable with the cereals okay, but it's just your Hombre and Zorro are the two main ones that are an issue. Baytan's fine, Dividend's okay at 6. So that looks okay. Foliar applied. Prosaro is only 2 weeks. I mean, if we're going to spray barley, and we had to go and spray barley for some reason early for the powdery with Bodan, then okay, we could handle that 2 week issue there. But again, the whole dilution of things, of grazing it off, then your longevity of protection is going to be compromised, I'm sure. But a lot of those wouldn't come into play anyway because we're grazing early, except for Prosaro, I would expect. And with our insecticides, there's no issue apart from putting gaucho on as a seed dressing. Trojan's only 2 weeks, Alpha's only 3 weeks. So it's if we have to go in for some reason, then that's manageable. And dimethylate and omethylate, they're only 1 day, so that's fine.
It compromises sort of IPM strategies.
It does.
Rather than good old-fashioned Telstar banging on.
Yeah.
4 weeks it seems.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So just to summarise a little bit, I mean, canola, we normally would be looking at starting to graze within 4 to 6 weeks. So given that, those products seem to be ruled out. Just the jockey, Cosmos and gaucho if you're going to go too early. And obviously the atrazine pre-sowing things out, so we just go with it post-sowing.
Just with the SIPCAM products, that'll do well. Just with SIPCAM, atrazine.
So, well, that was 10 weeks.
Oh,
so that was the 10 weeks. SIPCAM was 10 weeks, so everything else was 6. Okay. That's all right. Roundup Ready is probably, from an ease of use, if you like, Roundup Ready system is the easiest way to go. Your Roundup Ready herbicide's only a 1 week withholding period, so we've got that as a tool if you think Roundup Ready is suited to your paddock and your resistance status on your ryegrass. But yeah, TT and IT canola is okay, but like John was saying, maybe you go to a bit longer season varieties to get around the issue of your withholding periods, like for atrazine and Indivix. So yeah, they're all manageable, but it's just a pain to have to work around some of these things. With cereals, like we'll be looking at maybe 4 to 5 leaf. Sometimes we'll go 3 leaf if it's as Bill was saying, if the twist test is okay. Using the spray graze technique with phenoxys is a really good tool. Jockey on Bodan barley to minimise powdery. That's a 6 week withholding for jockey in the cereals, 8 weeks of canola, so that's a bit better. And Sakura, we can use that if we want to, with a 6 week withholding. So, can anyone see any other things that's glaringly obvious that I haven't put up there? Yep.
The Intervix, I think, was different withholding on the canola as opposed to the cereals?
Same thing, same, it's 5 weeks.
Oh, was 5?
Yeah, for the cereals it's 5 as well. I must have.
Greg, you also would have probably looked at this. The purpose of grazing, are you grazing the fat lambs to sell tomorrow? So
it's a choice of stock,
No,
But
it doesn't matter. It does not matter.
No.
You talk to MLA or the APVMA or whoever it is, they say you must not graze.
Yep. Whether that's an avenue to look at going down the track, that those kind of sheep stay on the farm for whatever in a period. How long since these animals have been on a crop with a
mean, that sort of seems logical, but then, yeah, when you've got
I know
those
logic
strict...
and stuff
Yeah.
gets in the way
Well,
of...
the problem is that that might involve a whole lot of research in terms of the animal has possibly picked up some chemical residue, but then the time for that to get out of the animal, and you can imagine that work would be expensive. Whereas just working out when the chemicals got out of the leaf tissue is a lot cheaper to do, I imagine.
Yep.
I did inquire to someone in MLA and said, what happens if a client accidentally, you know, put stock in within withhold? They are not allowed. It is legislation. Bang, bang, bang. There was no grey at all.
Greg, it might be worthwhile chasing up Greg's thought about the atrazine, because you know what the APV accept as post-emergent or post-sowing. It's the same like, you know, with a harvest, you know, when we say you're swapping, they, you know,
a harvesting action.
Swapping they call harvest.
Yep.
So they might treat it the same way. So it'd be good to
All right,
one of us contact and clarify that.
Yep. Okay, just to summarise with the cereals.
No, they set the rules. They have to know.
No, they won't know at all, because it won't be in the data. They'll go back to the company and say, we data post.
No, what do they mean by post-sowing or post-emergent?
The atrazine discrepancy here, that's going to be probably the hardest, longest drawn out one to deal with. Box of gold, yep. Jeff's just fixed that one. So, you know, that's true. You're not going to graze that paddock for the weed problem.
Can I just take you back to that first one? My argument with the first one would be the jockey's probably worn off by the time the grazing makes the blackleg worse. So I think you really should rely on, if you can, on varietal resistance for grazing and not rely on jockey. And if you are not relying on varietal resistance, then probably impact or something like that might be it's less problematic and it lasts a little bit longer. Or even if you're really worried, Prosaro seems to be
Prosaro option now that that's going to be registered is an option.
Anyway, I'd be really pushing that you select a good variety as your main defence against that.
The bromoxynil thing, I mean, with Jaguar only 2 weeks and velocity was 8 weeks, you know, for cereals, then I don't know, maybe there could be some review of those products. We'd go back to Bayer and have a look at velocity again and get them to help us with that one to see why it's pushed out to 8 weeks. The imidacloprid or gaucho issue for cereals, probably that's easily dealt with, I think. And the consideration, like I know, talking to some of the chemical companies, there are new fungicides and seed dressing insecticides coming through the pipeline, which maybe we just need to talk to them now about bringing this data through with it, so that we don't have to go back to it and deal with it later. So we can have them to view it as more of a priority, I suppose, as with every other piece of data that they have to put up to the APVMA. Then hopefully they can go with it and not be an issue.
Atrazine's a concern. You've got it twice.
Yeah, I saw that. I was worried about that.
Excellent. All right. Thank you, Greg.